Today we begin the process of dimensional analysis. Dimensional analysis is an extremely important tool that we'll use throughout this entire class. So it's a skill that you really must master. We're going to begin in the context of the metric system. And for a lot of you, you don't need dimensional analysis to convert these simple metrics problems. And I understand that. What we're trying to do is learn and understand the process of dimensional analysis. Now, dimensional analysis is a simple system that just uses basic principles of math to convert units. And I'm going to teach you kind of a system that makes it simple. As you become more comfortable with dimensional analysis, you can do it with a lot less structure, and it works out great. But I'm going to give you a lot of structure so that you can just learn how to use it at first. So we're going to begin with some steps. So if you take a look at your notes, I recommend that you kind of begin following the steps, and if you use those steps, it'll really help you. So I'm going to look at question number 1 right here. And question number 1, how many grams are in 543.8 milligrams? So my first step is to draw my dimensional analysis setup, which looks like this. So I'm going to draw a line, an equal sign, a line. So this is my equals line. This is where my answer is going to end up. And I do that just to make sure that you know when we start, at least in the beginning, nothing is going to go in the denominator at the beginning. We're just going to begin with a whole number. All right, so there's my first step. My second step is to identify what this question is asking me for and record the unit on the answer line. So this question has asked me how many grams are in 543.8 milligrams. So I want to record that over here. It's extremely important that I know where I am going before I try and get there. So I'm going to record that unit right here. So I'm going to grams. So again, I'm just going to refer to the notes. The next thing I'm going to do is identify the conversion factors that you need to convert units. And for this problem, it's pretty simple. There's just one conversion factor. But as we get into more complex problems, there's going to be potentially a lot more. So if you look here on this worksheet, you will see a list of these common conversion factors for the metric system. Everything goes back to the basic unit. So I'm looking for something that creates an equivalency between grams and milligrams. If we think about the definition of a conversion factor, it identifies two quantities that represent the same measurement, but of different units. And it's not always measurements. So it's two things that are equal to each other, and we'll see some other examples. So I have milligrams and grams, so I'm going to go ahead and say that there's 1,000 milligrams in 1 gram. All right, that's this conversion factor right here. All right? So those are the conversion factors that I need. Oops, don't want that. All right, so I look back at my notes. My next step is to then... Where's step 4? That's interesting. Identify the starting point of the problem. All right, so the starting point of the problem is going to be your given. And the reason that I will have you begin with picking out your conversion factors is because the given is oftentimes hard to find. In this case, it's obvious. You only have one given. Sometimes you'll have multiple givens, but some of those givens are conversion factors. So in this case, my given is 543.8 milligrams. I'm going to record that in this position here. This is the starting point of my problem. This is where I will begin with my given, 543.8. All right, and then it says, make sure you show all your work, all units. Units are extremely important. This is a process of converting units. So you have to always record your units. Units, units, units. So that's milligrams. All right, so the idea is if I have a unit in the numerator and the same unit in the denominator, those units will cancel out. So when I look at my conversion factor, I can plug my conversion factor in this way, or I can flip that conversion factor over and plug it in that way. Whatever unit I have right here, I want that unit to be down here. And that way those units can cancel out. So this conversion factor, I'm going to flip over so that it's like this, and I'm going to plug it in. So 1 gram over 1,000 milligrams. So now, that was step 5. I plugged in my conversion factors. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that all of my units cancel out. So right now, at this point, this unit here is the unit that I want to end in. So I'm good. I want to cancel out my units. So milligrams cancel with milligrams. So I'm going to cross those out. And I'm going to make sure that this unit is the unit that I am looking for. Once I have done that, final step is to solve the problem mathematically. And there's a couple different ways to do this, but essentially I'm going to multiply everything across the top. So I will multiply all of my numerator, so 543 times 1. And then I will divide that by each number on the bottom. So divided by 1,000. So that equals, and I'm kind of running out of room here, 0.54338. So there are 0.5438 grams in 543.8 milligrams. And this would be your answer. Of course, it would be prettier because you would have done all of that stuff. But that is very basic dimensional analysis.